Hello, welcome back to Al Talks. This is episode number 8. Um, yeah, bit later on in the week than usual. Usually I try to go for Tuesdays, but I was sick the day I was planning to record it on. I had like a migraine and whatever, and so bit 2 days later than expected, but you know got to roll with the punches. I wanted to talk about the technical difficulties encountered with my first guest, Gary. Basically, what happened was we had set up Zoom, and I started. You know, I don't use a screen record on this program that I use. It's called OBS Studio, uh, and it was my first time trying and my first time doing a Zoom as well. So we hit record. I presumed it would work. So it did. For I don't know why, but there's a function in OBS Studio where it's you basically record the screen. I think it's called window display or something. So I had added that in as a function because when you first get the program, you have to set everything up. You have to add your camera, your microphone, or you could just use the program's equipment. But I have, as I showed you in the very first episode, I have an auxiliary camera and I have an auxiliary microphone. So for whatever reason, it wouldn't record the screen for the Zoom. It would, so there was, it was only picking up audio. I really wanted to do this podcast, and I was like, look, it's gonna be just audio, but I'm gonna upload it anyway. So we started recording it. Really good episode. I think it was about roughly the same as length as the ones we do. We do here. Me, there's no we. It's just me that I do. Yeah, it's a big production team. No, it's just little old me. Not so little either. Anyway, so we started recording, and I was like, okay, we finished recording. I was like, let me hit, listen back to it, and even though I hate listening back to myself in video or audio. And then it's about a minute silence, and then Gary starts talking, and there's another silence, and I'm like, why can't I hear my voice? So I go back into the program, and it seems that when I configured to add the window display function, it turned off my microphone that's connected, which is this thing. This. I don't know why, but it just disconnected. So basically, that episode only had his audio. It was just Gary talking, and for whatever reason, it cut the video short as well at the end. It was about 4 minutes lost. I don't know why that happened. So I was like, well, I could have to do it again. So I went off and recorded the episode again. So went and recorded the episode again, and same thing. It was just I went ahead with the audio only, and we ended up losing about 5 minutes there. Like, the episode is 8 minutes, but it's about 14-15 minutes because like I said, I don't know why I lost, and it's not in the file at all. It's like the recording stopped. I don't know why. No, that's the technical difficulties I encountered, because I'm not gonna lie, it was annoying, especially when I recorded the first one. It's like, okay, I'm gonna listen back to it, and I was just dead silence. I don't know why I'd unconfigured my microphone. It was basically deactivated in the setup. I don't know why. The program kept saying there was some problem with the encoder. I only use this to record myself. So this, that's something for the future to look into and figure out. But yeah, that's that anyway. Um, I don't know what can you do. Um, the, I have to say it was, I don't know, it was a good experience because I've known Gary for so long and I really enjoyed recording that episode. If in the future the problem still persists, I might make my guest ones just audio only, just to see if that would make it better, or I don't know. We'll have to see in the future. It's something I have to figure out. Um, the other thing I want to talk about is I mentioned it. Let me see. Yeah, in episode 6, I was just actually supposed to mention it, but I actually forgot. Um, um, yeah, in that episode, I've mentioned it, yeah, in episode 6. It was the Joe Rogan podcast number 1606 that Ali Siddiqui said, he wanted to have the most comedy albums. And I was supposed to actually talk about, because I was talking about Eddie Murphy in that episode as well. And Eddie Murphy played a character in a movie called Dolomite. Now, Dolomite is a movie about a person called Rudy Ray Moore, who he was working in a record store, and he wanted to be a musician and he couldn't get the radios to play his music. So then he got this idea to come up with this onstage persona called Dolomite. And he basically recorded an album in his apartment. It was I think it was about 20 people in the audience, give or take, and then the he got the albums printed on vinyl, and he was selling them out of the trunk of his car. And then he later on went on to make a movie, and then he got a record deal with a label to to basically they signed him on because of his comedy album. And then when he was trying to get funding for the movie, he told the record label that they could have all his royalties if they gave him money to make his film. And you basically, I'm not going to go too much in there, but really should watch the movie. And how I was saying in episode 6 is, Eddie Murphy was planning to make a comeback. Eddie Murphy was planning to make a comeback into stand-up. And I think it was 2019 when Dolomite released. I think it was around Christmas time. I can't exactly remember. And after watching that and then hearing on the Joe Rogan podcast that he was supposedly come back, I was like, if Eddie Murphy has basically the same humor that he put in as his act of Dolomite, and if that turns, obviously it's a movie, he's an actor, but if there was like, if this is what his comedy comeback is going to be like, this is going to be brilliant, it's going to be amazing. But yeah, the reason I want to mention Dolomite is because, like in episode 6, I was talking about maybe recording an album, but he basically he recorded the album with pretty much bare minimum equipment, and he was selling albums out of the trunk of his car to make money, because he borrowed, I think he got money from his aunt to do the recording. And Yeah, so that's something I was supposed to mention episode 6, but never. I don't know why, it just skipped my mind. Would have been a perfect one because it was talking about Eddie Murphy in episode 6. And yeah, the currently, I'm on a figure. I don't know. The Zoom thing. I want to really get that down before I bring on my next guest, who'll be Kieran Mccann from the Plastic Cowboys. And they're actually releasing their EP on the 14th of March. We are the 4th now, so in 10 days actually they released their EP. It'll be on Spotify. So check them out. Go on their Facebook, and they actually have a competition running at the moment, so it'd be a good time to check it out. I think it's like €60 voucher for Tower Records. If I have any international listeners, I don't know if you'll be able to enter that because the store, I think it's not Tower Records, I think it's Golden Disc or Tower Records, so one of those anyway. They have all the info on their page. Or actually, you know what? I'll put a link to it in the description, or the about, or one of those, so that I'm not, messing up their promo per se. But yeah, I don't know. I liked the audio one is good. I didn't really mind it. Like I said, I just wanted to get the podcast out and record it. So I don't think there's anything else. No. Future episodes. Obviously I had this one thought out for a long time. It was just unfortunate that the recording is a bit late. I was really sick on Sunday. I usually record these like on a Sunday or Monday. But yeah, it was a bit of a delay this week, but we have it out anyway. I don't think I can think of anything else. Been listening to a lot of podcasts recently. Every week, I listen to Joey Diaz's podcast, Uncle Joey's Joint. And then actually today, I think I've listened to 3 episodes today of Ali Makovsky's podcast. She's a really, really funny comedian. She's one of the new kids coming up. I think she's 25 now. Her and Taylor Tomlinson are kind of the newer comedians coming up, and I've listened to a lot of podcasts with Taylor Tomlinson as well. Both of them have a unique take on comedy. Another podcast I really got into, I mentioned Tiger Belly before, but Bobby Lee's girlfriend Kalila started a podcast with Annie Letterman. I think it's Letterman, not Lederman, as some people say. And Esther Pomsky, I think, or Ponsky. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Yeah, it's Povitsky, not Pomsky, or whatever one I was saying. Yeah, that one's funny because